Over the past year, I spent 12 hours every day building in Minecraft to answer one question. How hard is it to make Minecraft your job? I'm sure every one of you watching have thought about it before at least once. If you didn't have to worry about school or work, how far could you go? Is willpower alone enough to become a full-time Minecrafter, or is all success just pure luck? Today, the answers are finally here. Hi, I'm Shovel241, and I have no life. Like many of you, I found Minecraft when I was just a kid. I immediately fell in love with the game, spending countless hours mining, exploring, and building in survival mode. Above every other part of the game, building was my passion. It was something that I could do for days at a time without getting worn out. Pretty soon, I had an unrealistic dream. If I ever had the chance to be a pro builder, I'd take it. In a heartbeat. Throughout the years, I got distracted by life, but I always had time for Minecraft. I thought I'd always be able to play it and pursue my building dream. But eventually, I went off to college. Between school, work, and friends, I didn't have time for Minecraft anymore. So the dream slowly faded. Fast forwarding 4 years, I was a senior in college, about to go to the Cayman Islands to help establish new coral reefs. I could almost taste the salt water. After researching all year, I was 1 week away from soaking up the sun and swimming the beautiful reefs. At least, that's what I thought.
Coronavirus exploding coast to coast.
Coronavirus who need to be kept in isolation.
Isolation.
After months of hard work, the lockdown stopped the entire world. Like everyone else, the only thing to do was wait. Stuck inside with nothing to do, I heard a familiar melody, something almost like a call. So I answered. I jumped back in and started living the life that had been lost. As nostalgia took over and helped me get through this rough time, that old spark returned and I once again became focused on building. Hand placing blocks just wasn't fast enough, so I started to learn tools like World Edit. While I was getting back into building, I graduated college, got a job, and moved across the country. While I was definitely getting better at building, I was juggling so many things in real life. I wasn't sure how I could keep it up. But then it happened. Don't worry, I'm fine now, but back then it was pretty life-changing. I had a really physical job that couldn't be done with only one working leg, so my entire life stopped. Once again, I was stuck. Inside, with nothing to do. But this time, I already knew what I was going to do. I had my shot. It was time to find out just how far I could go. I had 6 months before I needed to go back to my old job. This was my golden opportunity to finally come back to my building dream, and I wasn't going to waste it. And so the work began. I learned some new tools and watched my builds grow. Every day after my surgery has been a strict routine. Wake up at 5, do real life stuff, start building at 6. Stop building at 6. Real life stuff, go to bed, rinse, repeat. Even though Minecraft is just a game, the process was grueling. But the builds made it all worthwhile. With the new tools I was learning, the only limit was my imagination. I could create landscapes in a second and fill them with empires in another. It was around this time that I started posting on Instagram and met the people that would become my closest friends. These were some of the top names on Instagram at the time, and honestly, when we first got in a call, I was scared out of my mind. Builders like Painter Gigi, Snarple, Claire1593, and WaspyCraft all stood as giants in comparison. But with time and a lot of voice calls, I was accepted in the group that turned into the Bakery Builders. We kept building, learning, and growing alongside one another. Their strengths were the foundational skills for a lot of my best builds. Whenever a build came to completion, I thought to myself, there is no way I can ever top this. This is the best build that I will ever do. This is my peak. But surprisingly, with each new build, I kept repeating that phrase, and my style kept progressing along with my technique. Every single build I tried to outdo the previous. I was competing against myself and I was improving quickly. But it still wasn't enough. I could see myself flatlining. I had to face the hard truth. My builds were basic, unrefined, sloppy. I had focused so much on what could be done that I cut corners. The details mattered. Every color in the gradient, every single roof trim, it all had to be perfect. Not one block out of place. So I switched things up. I nitpicked every detail, carefully chose my block palettes, and made sure that my houses were flawless. Confident in my work, I proudly posted them. And they flopped. Hard. I was confused. Why? I spent way more time on these. There was every reason to believe that these were all home runs. But then it hit me. This wasn't what I had set out to do. I was supposed to be pushing limits and make things people hadn't seen before. There's 100 million Minecraft houses that have been built. I had been making the same house in different forms over and over again without realizing it. I got so caught up in doing what I thought people wanted that I had forgotten to do something I wanted. I wasn't trying to compete against my friends or even my rivals. Unlike most of them, I was able to spend all my time in Minecraft, so perfection had to be the baseline. If I was going to make Minecraft my job, I needed to measure up to my heroes. They needed to be bigger, more complex. I had to treat building like it was training a muscle, and every day train it to exhaustion. It wasn't going to be easy, but at this point I was in too deep to give up. I had two options: elevate my building game or go back to work in a couple months. And I hated work. So I hit the grind. 12 hours every day. Eventually, I decided to combine the expressiveness of my early builds with the intricate detailing of my recent work. Take the best parts of my two previous failed building phases and put them together. And it worked. So I did it again, and again, and again. And then a few more times. This is when I passed the threshold. I was cranking out builds that I loved, and people were loving them back. Before now, I'd always look back at my builds and be disappointed in what I could have done better. Now, I only look back with pride, knowing that I did everything I could. Once I found my building rhythm, time started to fly. You know that feeling you get when you're really into something, and before you know it, hours have passed? That's how it's been for the past 6 months. Once I became consumed by this building flow state, things started to pick up. Build after build, people started noticing. Minecrafters everywhere saw my improvement and were wanting to experience it for themselves. So, to help pay rent and allow aspiring builders to learn firsthand from my work, I made everything available on Patreon. I was a little hesitant to send the first schematics, but I had hundreds of builds just sitting around. They needed to be used. This is where I saw the potential to turn my dream into a reality. Within a few short months, I was able to afford rent again. My patrons alone paid off all my hospital bills for my surgery. Actually, I might need these. Taxes, I don't know. That's hard. Feed my dog. And allow me the ability to keep doing work that I love. I'm not completely financially secure yet, but being able to make ends meet is a huge relief. Even though this past year has been grueling, stressful, and completely uncertain, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I've reached a building level that I've never dreamt of. I've been able to satisfy my creative urge that I had buried for years, and the bakery members have become more than just online friends. They've turned into my family. Although I've postponed my dream of traveling the world, I know that I can make a larger impact here. I found more enjoyment in creating worlds, rather than just being a tourist in one that's already been built. Of all the things that I'm good at, I can say confidently that this is the thing that I'm best at. I'm more fulfilled, more engaged, and more optimistic about where this will lead. Before I was a builder, I could barely get out of bed. Now, I can't wait to wake up and get back to work. It doesn't matter what you want to be. If it seems impossible, it might only be impossible right then. Circumstances change. Life changes. Quickly. I won't lie, I was lucky. Extremely. But that's only part of it. Every so often, a door will open for you, even if it doesn't seem like it. Open it, and get ready to grind. It doesn't just happen, so don't expect it to. It takes a lot. Some luck, some skill, but mostly, it takes work. Visualize your path, and don't be afraid to adjust course if you think that there's a better way. Dig deep, and make it real. If I can do it, you can too. I believe in you. Yeah, you. Thanks for watching.